The Rwandan genocide, also known as the genocide against the Tutsi, occurred from April 7th to July 19th in 1994 during the Rwandan Civil War. Over the span of about 100 days, members of the Tutsi ethnic group, as well as some moderate Hutu and Tutsi, were systematically killed by Hutu militias. While the Rwandan constitution states that over 1 million people were killed, most scholarly estimates suggest around 500,000 to 800,000 Tutsi died, mostly men. The genocide was marked by extreme violence, with victims often murdered by neighbors, and widespread sexual violence between 250,000 and 500,000 women sexually assaulted. I want to specifically talk about the prelude. Radio station RTLM. Power groups believed, Hutu power groups, by the way, believed that the national radio station, Radio Rwanda, had become too liberal and supportive of the opposition. They founded a new radio station, Radio Télévision Libre de Mille Collines, or RTLM. RTLM was designed to appeal to young adults in Rwanda and had extensive reach. Unlike newspapers that could only be found in cities, radio broadcasts were accessible to Rwanda's largely rural population of farmers. Format of the broadcast mirrored Western-style radio talk shows that played popular music, hosted interviews, and encouraged audience participation. The broadcasters told crude jokes and used offensive language that contrasted strongly with Radio Rwanda's more formal news reports. Just 1.5% of RTLM's airtime was dedicated to news, while 66.29% of airtime will feature journalists discussing their thoughts on different subjects. As the start of the genocide approached, RTLM broadcasts focused on anti-Tutsi propaganda. They characterized the Tutsi as a dangerous enemy who wanted to seize political power at the expense of the Hutus. By linking the Rwandan Patriotic Army, the group of Tutsi children that invaded Rwanda after their parents in the previous generation were driven out for dissidency, when I say dissidency, I mean the fact that the Hutu people, ethnic group, overthrew them for being their overseers, basically. With the Tutsi political party and ordinary Tutsi citizens, they classified the entire ethnic group as one homogenous threat to Rwandans. So just some context about the lead up to the Rwandan genocide. When the British colonized Rwanda, they basically made it so the Tutsi, who were by and large average light-skinned, and the Hutu, which were more in line dark-skinned, they made the Tutsi the leadership. About a generation before the events of the Rwandan genocide in 1994, there was a power struggle in Rwanda that basically overthrew the Tutsi minority that had been ruling Rwanda for years. And the Tutsi that were in power, like the politicians that benefited from this two-tier justice system, fled to Uganda. Years later, their kids came back as the Rwandan Patriotic Army and tried to, take back the country and institute the old rule. Bear in mind that, the group of Tutsi that ran this way was a very small group proportionate to the rest of the Tutsi ethnic group that lived in the country. And as a result of this, the far right Hutus groups painted them all as a homogenous threat to Rwandans with no distinction. RTLM went further than amplifying the ethnic and political divisions, and labeled the Tutsi as cockroaches, which must be exterminated. Leading up to the genocide, there were 294 instances of RTLM accusing the Rwandan Patriotic Army of atrocities against the Hutu, along with 252 broadcasts that called for Hutus to kill Tutsi. One such broadcast stated, "Someone must make them disappear for good, to wipe them from human memory, to exterminate the Tutsi from the surface of the earth." By the time the violence began, the young Hutu population had absorbed months of racist propaganda that had characterized all Tutsi as dangerous enemies that must be killed before they seize control of the country. RTM earned the name Radio Machete, as it related to their incitement of the genocide, specifically because the instrument used to murder so many people was the machete. Approximately 10% of the overall violence during the Rwandan genocide can be attributed to this radio station. So, this is why people are not upset that Charlie Kirk is dead. This is why people are not particularly upset that Charlie Kirk is dead. I want to be very, very clear that political violence is awful and we shouldn't have it in this country. We shouldn't be in a place where media figures are assassinated in broad daylight. But we are in this place because of the propagandization and advocacy of people like Charlie Kirk, of people like the RTLM radio station. Charlie Kirk is the American equivalent of an RTLM. He has advocated for over a decade and a half for the most awful, evil policy positions available in American, public media. The only person worse than him is a Nick Fuentes, and that's just because, and it's not like they don't believe the same things, except the difference is the they are just like open about it to a degree that Charlie Kirk isn't. Charlie Kirk has always focused on trying to get appealing to a broad audience. There's a reason why he became even more far right wing after 2016 and then 2020. Fundamentally, at the end of the day, any of the clips that the media have shown you of all the awful things that he said cannot do how evil this man was justice. This man was a white nationalist. This man was a white supremacist. This man advocated for years for white supremacy and all of the things that come with that. He was a bad person. And the reason why I cannot fathom why, the only reason I can give my more liberal contemporaries the benefit of the doubt that they are defending him is that they have not seen, they have not been doing counter advocacy against this man like many of us on the left have been doing for anywhere near as long. The people are like, oh, I didn't know who he was. Fundamentally, at the end of the day, powerful media figures who advocate for awful things are culpable for awful deeds being done in the aftermath. Similar to how radio station RTLM in its advocacy again of all Tutsi being, cockroaches. Charlie Kirk's advocacy that, all black people are violent thugs and all gay people and trans people are sexual deviants. Is it any wonder we are in a country right now where the federal government is sending the National Guard into black cities, predominantly black cities, and is, you know, is demonizing, is taking away, you know, rights of people left and right based on their gender identity or sexual preference. Regardless, at the end of the day, we are existing in an environment of just abject awfulness, and this is probably the last video I am going to be making about Charlie Kirk. He is not some respectable debate lord who cares about debating ideas. He is radio station RTLM. He is Goebbels. He is the USSR Russian Ministry of Propaganda. Like, he is a mouthpiece whose entire goal was to make as much of the American public amenable to the worst ideas that a human that we as a society can support. I am not sad at his death. Hell, I've even been glib about his death in private chats and videos that have gotten copyright stricken for community guidelines. But I'm not happy about the fact that he got shot, in the sense of we are now at a point in this country where violence is going to be more commonplace politically going forward. Democratic senators have been assassinated. So, like, there's been so much right-wing violence against people who aren't right-wingers that it's absurd. And now I wonder if the right is going to use this as justification to ramp up their rhetoric. They probably are in their actions. Or people are going to forget about this in 2 weeks. Like we did with the Trump assassination. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Ultimately, I am distraught that we are at this place in this country, and there's only really, it's going to get a lot worse before it's going to get better. The only way out is through. Hold on, folks. It's the best we can do.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to talk to me outside of this video, outside of live streams, or just join the community and be a part of it, you can do so at himedia.gg/discord. Discord links there. We'd love to have you. And given the financial situation of the economy right now, I know this is a tall ask, but if you have the scratch to spare, please consider donating and becoming a supporter at himedia.gg/tip. All of our perks are serviced through our Discord channel, including early access videos, exclusive videos, and more. Your generosity is a blessing, and $1 a month is a boon to my mental health. Thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate you, and have a great day.